All right, well, just a few moments ago with the 11 a.m. update from the National Hurricane Center, they were saying Hurricane Erin, which rapidly intensified this morning all the way from Category 2 to a Category 4 storm, was expected to reach Category 5 strength by the end of the day today. Well, just 20 minutes later, after the Hurricane Hunter's flight was able to get in to Erin, they were able to say it already has reached Category 5 strength, an impressive amount of intensification throughout the morning this morning, all the way from a 2 up to a 5. So here is what Erin looks like on IR satellite. You can see it there. There's a defined eye of the system moving over the north of Guadalupe. Not a lot of other changes other than the fact that this has already reached Category 5 strength here. Remember, early this morning, way back here, was only at Category 2. We jumped up briefly to 3, a similar situation to what we're seeing now. With the 5 a.m. update, the National Hurricane Center said probably likely to become a 4 sometime later today by 5:20. After the Hurricane Hunter's flight got in there, they were able to say we're already at a 4. So almost the exact same thing happening with the 11 a.m. update here. We're at Category 5 status now, and there's a bit of a westerly component as opposed to a northwesterly component with this at the moment. So it's expected to keep doing that here at least for a little bit, but then it will eventually return to that west-northwesterly push. Then by the time we get towards the end of the weekend and the early work week, that is when this system is going to start to de-intensify. So we'll maintain Category 5 strength probably through about Sunday. By the time we're talking about end of Sunday, early Monday, that's when we're going to see this drop back down to a Category 4. Now, as it drops down to a Category 4 storm, the western wall of this storm is going to start to break down as well. That's going to allow this system to turn more directly towards the north, and that is when we start to see the push of this system heading more towards the north. So the early work week is when we're going to be watching this here, especially for impacts on Bermuda. The end of this cone is still fairly uncertain, so we're still kind of paying attention to what this could mean for Bermuda. One thing that has remained consistent over the last couple of updates is that this cone still continues to steer this system far away from the United States. The East Coast likely looking at some increased surf and rip current warnings over the next couple of days, but at least in terms of major impacts inland, we're not really talking about much with Erin. An impressive system nonetheless, Category 2 all the way to a Category 5 only this morning. So we're going to keep our eye on this over the next couple of days, but that is the latest from the National Hurricane Center.